I'm going to jump right in, and we're going to talk about LinkedIn. My company just does two things. We focus on an individual or company brand, and then using LinkedIn to acquire clients for your company. Okay, so I'm going to jump in and just get right into it. We're going to spend one slide or two slides and talk about just where the social landscape is now. And I think it's pertinent because the ROI has significantly changed in just the last year or two. We're going to talk about profiles and how to get your profile noticed, paid versus free accounts, because I get asked that all the time. And then we're going to talk about client acquisition with LinkedIn, thought leadership, and then how we track results. And I have questions there, but we won't get to it. Maybe. Maybe. So a couple incredible stats. LinkedIn is now over 350 million users and 2 new users per second. I don't even have to ask, but I will. Who's got a LinkedIn account here? Yes. Right. So I already know it's going to be 100%, which is truly amazing. And there is over 1 million LinkedIn groups now as well. A couple other things to notice here. Pinterest is growing like gangbusters, and it's really good if you have a product-based business. If you haven't played with it, it's super easy and fun. I really like Pinterest. The thing to note about Facebook is the amount of time people spend on it is incredible. The average site time per user. So all of these different channels, if we had a lot of time, we could talk about the benefits for your business. I only focus on LinkedIn, so we're just going to go there, and I'm not even going to talk about the other stuff because we don't have time. LinkedIn growth is accelerating. I found this chart when I was putting this together. As I said, it's over 350 million now. So if the ROI wasn't there in 2010, it's definitely there now. So if you have a company that sells a product or a service, your clients are there, right? Your partners, your folks are there. And so, you know, we can't deny now that the importance of social media and its impact on your business. And the reason I'm going fast is because I need to, based on my last session there. How many people have Googled somebody's name before? Okay, if I asked that a year ago, maybe half of the hands would go up, right? Maybe some of you would have been shy then, but now everybody does that, right? And so if your name is Googled, unless you own the domain of your name, LinkedIn is usually first. If you own that domain, LinkedIn is still sometimes first, but it might be second. But it's going to be right up there in the first 2 or 3 results, right? So it's really, really important because that's what people see, right? So what does your LinkedIn profile say about you? How many of you have spent real time to say, or how many of you would say, my LinkedIn profile is who I am. This is what I'm about. Okay. You're almost there, Mike. We have to finish updating. So just a couple slides on some of the key things that are important. Your image is super important. It's a headshot because in search, this is like this big. So if you put that really full shot with your surfboard or whatever, it's not going to look good, right? So it's a headshot. This line underneath your name, by default, it just pulls the job title from your last company, but you can change it. And you could have it be whatever you want, educator, management and staff trainer, speaker. And this also shows up in search. In search, LinkedIn works like Google did 5 years ago. Meaning, if I want to show up for social change agent, and the first person has it show up 3 times in their profile, and it shows up 4 times in my profile, guess what? I'm first. It's super simple. There's 7 places in your profile that you can put words that will show up, and you'll show up in search higher. Okay? So it's really kind of important to put the things that are important for you there. And make sure you're well connected. A conversation came up earlier when we were having coffee. Should I connect with everybody? And I'm going to do this really quick. Yes, you should. Okay. On LinkedIn, it's called a lion. It means LinkedIn Open Networker. It means I don't say that I'm not going to know you, but I'm going to connect with you. And you're going to say why, right? On Facebook, don't do it. Connect with your friends, right? You're going to share what you had for lunch or breakfast. You don't need to tell the whole world. On LinkedIn, you don't know what you don't know, right? So if you connect to me, I guarantee you that I'm connected to every CEO of a company over 50 employees in California, pretty much, right? So they become your second level connections. If you're trying to reach somebody and you connect to me, you're going to get all of those connections. You don't know that, my daughter is best friends with the daughter of the CEO that you've been trying to connect with forever. And so we're connected, right? So there's no cost to it. Connect with them, okay? That's my belief. And we could debate that later, but that's my belief. How many of you have filled out your profile completely? Like you put your hobbies in there and you put the companies that you help, the places you volunteer, all of those things. Yes? It's huge, and I'll tell you why. We want to do business with people we have things in common with, right? I ran a national chamber of commerce that was focused on the environment. And the largest sponsorship check I ever received was because I rode crew at San Diego State. We didn't talk about the environment. We didn't talk about the sponsorship. We talked about crew for 45 minutes, which was all I remembered from that long ago about crew. And then he wrote a check. And I'm like, wow, we want to do business with things we have in common with. So the first thing is include a summary. This is really a funny one. So many people don't put their email address or phone number. And I'm like, why do you use LinkedIn?
In the contact section, you're saying put it up in the summary?
I put it right in the summary, because if someone wants to connect with me and they happen to need my email address or they want to call me, I want to make it easier for people to reach me. I have just under 23,000 first level connections on LinkedIn, and my phone number is right at the top, and people don't call me from there. And if they do, it's okay, but they don't. People will message me or email me or connect with me. This is the hardest part to write. Typically, I would say have someone else write it for you. Most of us were raised to be humble about who we are. And as entrepreneurs, we've kind of broken through that, and we're all right with telling you how great we are. But we haven't written it many times. And so it's best to have someone do it for you. The way it should be written is the first words should be the thing that you want people to read, because they're only going to read a few words. I assume people are going to spend 10 seconds, and then I'm like, wow, if I could capture them, I might get 30 more. Or I might get 30 more than that. So it's going to be sequentially the things I think are most important each time, right? So the first thing is, this is who I am, and this is maybe what I do. But if they read the summary, it's the summation of why I'm the exact person doing the exact thing that I'm doing right now. Sometimes you see this specialties down here. Do you know what that is? People will read right over it. They won't even read it. If they do, it's the things that he wants to be known for. Those are keywords that he's going to show up for in search. So you could put them at the bottom of your summary, and you could put them at the bottom of your job title. Now, I'm not recommending to write web design 100 times in a row. That's called keyword stuffing, and that's just stupid. Don't do that. But you could put web design there, right? Does that make sense? The other two things are, it's multimedia. This is not a resume. So have a video there. If someone clicks on your video, there's a good chance they'll watch the whole thing if it's short enough, right? They'll never read every word, but they will watch the video. This is a SlideShare presentation. It has all kinds of statistics. I know how much they looked at it, how long they spent on it. It's really cool. So, and also I could follow people's SlideShare. So if this person comes up with a new SlideShare, then you get notified. It's a pretty neat tool. Recommendations. This is going to come when we look at what I call the perfect job description. But the way you get things in life, in my opinion, is you give and then you receive. So for my clients, if we want recommendations, sometimes we have to do it for them, and they're just going to tell us about the people. But if you write 10 or 15 recommendations, the person that receives them is going to go, wow, that's really cool. It makes them feel good. And it's also going to prompt them to write you a recommendation. And if you write 10 of them, probably 5 at least will do it. The other way to do it is to call your friend and say, hey, Mike, will you write me a recommendation? But I like this way. So I wrote one for Jonathan a while ago, and then Of course, Jonathan responds back and writes one for me, right? The way that the job description should be is, again, the same format. Put the greatest thing. I made $167 million for ABC company in 3 months. And they're going to go, what company is that? And then they're going to read the next paragraph, which is what it is. 90% of the job descriptions, I should say 98%, come from the About Us on the website. And it's like ABC company helps people solve problems, and like, it's just boring. I don't want to know about them. I want to know about you. So here's the most amazing thing I did. Here's what the company did, right? And then as soon as this recommendation is here, they're like, oh, that's all true. And you just read down, right? That's like kind of the psychology of how we browse super fast. We look at it and we go, boom, boom, boom. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Good. I'm going fast. Endorsements. How many people think these are kind of a joke because you've gotten endorsements from people that you don't even know? It's called gamification, and it is one of the most effective tools out there, and LinkedIn is brilliant at this. They had 1 billion recommendations within like the first several months of doing this. But here's what's cool about it. It gives me an opportunity to say something nice about somebody. And we like giving it. We also like receiving it, right? One thing to be careful of, I can go, I think Michael is a great water polo player. And I write water polo, and I give him a recommendation. If he doesn't look at it, he clicks OK, and it adds water polo to the bottom down here. Now, he's never been in a pool before, but it says water polo. So what you want to do is you don't want to be a mile wide. You want to be deeper, right? But what I get from it is, again, remember, we're browsing fast. I've got 5 seconds to see this. And I actually look at almost all these words at the same time. But I see entrepreneurship and leadership and marketing and business and management. I'm like, I know what this guy's about. And if I have 5 endorsements and they're 99 on all of these, I'm going to go, well, at least I know what that person's into. I might not give him $1 million because he has 99 for marketing strategy. I might do a little more vetting than that. But at least I know what that person's up to. Does that make sense? And we like giving them. And you're going to get them just because LinkedIn throws it in your face. As soon as I look up somebody's name, it's going to say, is so-and-so good at these things? And I'm like, yeah, I think they are. And I'm like, I'm very intuitive that way. So how do we take all of this and leverage it for business, right? And that's really why you're here. Remember I said paid versus free accounts? I really like. Just get a paid account. That's what I recommend. Here's the reasons why. You will show up in search more. On a daily basis, I show up 15 to 20 times where people have looked at my profile and looked at who I am. You get access to who's viewed your profile, which is the number one thing that people request, or the number one thing that people like about LinkedIn. So I get to see who's looking at my profile. And I might message them because they might be my perfect client, right? I get extended reach and more in-mails. Who knows what in-mails are? Okay, that's LinkedIn's messaging system. The read rate is stupid. It's like 85%. That's unheard of. Unheard of. And the reason is those in-mails are not gamed. We can't spam them. We're not getting, join this thing or do that thing. So this message actually goes to their regular email box. They don't have to log into LinkedIn, right? So 25 with a paid account guaranteed, meaning if they don't open it, I'm going to get credited back for that, right? I'm going to show you in a second another way that we could message a lot of people about your product or service, but get a paid account so you can use InMail, and then use those messages every month. Now I'm going to keep going. So it seems like I'm going faster than normal pace. I am. Here's an example of a connection request. How many people have gotten this? Would you like to join my network? Has anyone ever seen that one? Has anyone ever seen anything else? That seems like the predominant, like 99% of the people are saying. Yes. You'll have to stay after class. So by writing a custom message, you increase the efficacy geometrically, right? We will never, ever, in my company, get less than 30%. We've gotten as high as 85%. Typically, it's between 30 and 45% of the people. So if I reach out to 1,000 people that are your targeted clients, 300 of them minimum are going to say yes to connect, minimum, and always typically more. This is exactly 300 characters. And this is exactly the person, that's the client that this person or company is looking for. Once they say yes, we get an opportunity to send them a free message and say thank you. So here's how we use that message. Thank you for accepting. I really appreciate it. If I can help you, please let me know. It's pretty much the same, right? This is, again, who I am, right? In this case, we partner with companies to find effective, efficient training for employees. So they come in and help you develop your culture or train your employees on your culture or on the software or on the technology, whatever education you want to provide for your employees, they come in and help do it, right? Either with their platform or help you with yours. I didn't even know they had it before I met them. We're dedicated to outrageous success, right? This is a little bit about who they are. And then here's why I connected with you, right? Because you want to try to make them feel special. This is why I'm reaching out to you. And then here's the ask. I'd love to have a quick conversation with you. And this is where I live in this second message. This is what my company does is we know how to target, we know how to find the people, we know how to connect, but then we're going to keep trying things until we find a way to get that call to action. And so in this case, the call to action is he wants to have a conversation because I know, if you know this guy, he's amazing. If I create 10 conversations for him this week, good things will happen. That's my job. Right? So we added this funny little line, I know your time is valuable, I'm happy to offer a $10 Starbucks card. And I'm like, how ridiculous is that? Who is going to buy on that? Our efficacy rate per 100 went from like 1 or 2 per 100 to like 12 or 15. And then the other people are going, well, I can't meet right now, but you should know this person or you should meet with that person. I was like he was getting flooded. I'm like, a $10 card, right? And here's why. Here's why. All I've agreed to do is connect with you. I didn't agree to, let you date my daughter or go buy a car from you or do any services with you whatsoever. Just connect, right? But now I want to transfer that to something more meaningful. I want to take the relationship from LinkedIn and create something new. And so I want to offer something that's of real value. In this case, it's a silly $10 card. Right? But it could be a meeting to discuss their, if you're a consultant and there's real value in your services. Very rarely it's a white paper. It can be 1 out of 100 could be that valuable to that client, but most of the time it's not a free quote. It's something that's valuable. And a lot of people will give really valuable things. I have a client that says, oh, we pay a $2,500 referral fee. I'm like, are you kidding? We flooded his inbox because they're like, well, we were reaching to the client that would get the $2,500 and ask him if they know somebody that would be interested. And then they were coming back and going, yeah, that would be me. I'd be interested. It was amazing. So we want to talk with you and try it, and then we'll try different things until we figure out what works. So super simple. We can actually put URLs in here. So we can put a link to a video or a slide share or your presentation. Less is more. Short. People don't have attention spans, short and to the point. This is actually almost on the long side for me. Tracking. So we do an advanced search on LinkedIn, and then we're going to put their name, their company in, their LinkedIn URL, and we're going to do all this extra work. And the reason is it would get lost if I just hit connect on LinkedIn. And if I can't track results, I don't know how well I'm doing. So I can tell you that I will get minimum of 30% of the connection requests, but I can also tell you how well my second messages are doing so we can try them out and we can see what works, because it's very scalable. A lot of us have products or services that we can sell to different geographic areas or different vertical markets. So once we figure it out, it can really do great things for your organization. Does that make sense? So we go through this extra step in the beginning to build these lists. Whew. Social media for business, I define it as finding individuals or groups that I think would be interested in my product or service and then adding value to that group. And the way you add value is with content. Okay, so we've been talking all about just lead generation, which is where we focus on. There's some phenomenal companies that focus purely on content. There's one right here. This is a group that I'm in. It's Surfrider. Now, why would I be in Surfrider group besides that I love to surf? Because Surfrider is CEOs from Orange County to San Diego, like 80, 90% CEOs and business owners. So I contributed. I found an article that had Kelly Slater's name. If you don't know surfing, that's the god of surfing. And it has the word life and death in it. I'm like, this is gold. By the time this article, after this, it had probably hundreds of comments. So I was a top influencer in this group for like 4 months because of one article. Because it has a lot of value to that group, right? I didn't even write the article. CNN wrote the article. So it's really good to find groups that you're interested in and then share and contribute, right? It's a really good way to make connections for people to find you, because people would see me all the time. Like anytime they logged into that group, they would see me. And that email with the update, the digest of Surfrider's thing, goes to their inbox as well, right? So it's a good place to share content. And I went really fast, so I actually got through it. Woo!